Right.
Hello, I can't see you.
There you go. Okay. Hi.
You look different.
I shaved.
Oh.
Yeah. Not in the last few seconds earlier today. Yeah.
How are you?
I'm good. We are, Rich and I are still moving into our place. It's not like finished. And so I was just putting up the blinds on our windows. And in order to get them to stay, we have to create like a pillar type system to hold it up against the ceiling so that the adhesive can really, grab hold and stick. Well, I was doing that and one of the pillars came undone and came crashing down onto my desk and broke my monitor like 10 minutes ago. So,
no.
yeah. So I'm just like, I can't believe this just happened. But I wanted to be here to support you. And
thank you.
So I'm here. If you notice a furrowed brow, it has nothing to do with you. It has to do with the fact that I just broke my monitor.
And did you see the homework in the chat? I published something new in a Star Trek magazine.
No, what was the homework? What was it?
I published something new in a Star Trek fan zone.
Oh, well, that's awesome. So wait, was the homework to read it?
Yeah, but you were busy with Ticonderoga, so I didn't tell you.
It's very clever, though. I like that. Yes, that's how it's like college professors who tell their students, you got to buy my book. If you want to pass my class, you got to buy my book.
This will be a 2 or 3 part series. I haven't decided.
Okay, cool.
Where's your other half?
Yeah, but I just wanted to come in and say hello and show support. You do your thing. I'm just going to be here silently weeping over the death of my monitor.
Oh, well, you probably still have something to say anyway about the episode because you've seen Star Trek a zillion times anyway. So you can just read it and see. You'll probably mind will be blown. And
all right. I will definitely check it out.
Where's your other half?
He's still cooking. He's in the kitchen. There's Trixie. There's our third
Aaron,
half.
this is Dan DV the first, and he's a very epic friend of mine. And later space. They're busy.
Nice to meet you.
B is coming. They're just getting off the work. And we're a small group right now.
That's how it starts. That's how it has to start.
This only came out on the 28th, and I was like, okay, we're going to have a watch party on Friday. If it helps, it's on page 9.
Page 9 of, where am I looking?
The link is in the chat.
Okay. Not the Zoom chat.
The Zoom chat.
Oh, I only see one message in the Zoom chat because I just.
Oh, for Pete's sake.
Comes up after they arrive.
What do you want me to do? I don't make the Zoom.
Flips. Yeah, it's my Zoom, my fault.
There we go.
Dan, where do you call home?
New York. I live in Midtown on 43rd and 9th.
Excellent. I like New York.
Look at this. Star Trek Quarterly. All right. Yes. Looking good. You are on page 9.
Yeah, and through 15.
All right.
It's sort of a sequel to the first thing, and it's deeper and it's very emotional. You're going to cry. You're going to say, "What the?" It's sort of a response to some trauma I went through in 2020. What we've already talked about, which I'm not going to tell you the whole story yet. I'm not ready.
Okay.
Richard.
Hello. There he is. Doing his cooking thing.
B just PM. They should be here in about 10 minutes. Oh, and the dog is quiet today. That's something.
Don't count on it lasting.
Just have to check Twitter, and because I invited a whole bunch of people from Twitter, so I just oh, it's rough being a captain sometimes.
I have to agree.
You know, I wanted a space where everyone could feel safe and belong. And yeah.
Me too.
Yeah. And I'm sure you wanted a space where you didn't have the burden of being in charge.
I love that.
And you got to play with George Takei.
Yes, yes, which was very, very nice, and hopefully made enough of an impression on him that he will choose to join the diversity panel that we're hosting on the cruise next year. So fingers crossed.
Oh, you're hosting a diversity panel. Oh. Well, trust me, sweetie, if I had money, I'd come join your panel, but I don't got money for a cruise. I mean, I've got Pfizer, probably one of the strongest vaccines out there, so I'm good, but that's money.
Yeah, no, I would never go on the cruise if I had to pay for it. It's too expensive.
Oh, goodness. Oh, it's free for you?
I couldn't do it.
Are you sleeping?
No, I'm reading.
No, I mean, are you sleeping in life? You look tired.
Oh, not as much as I should, but.
Oh, goodness.
Do you think maybe Garrett, well, and I'm just saying this now because I'm literally reading your article from the beginning down. The first thought and question that I have is, do you think maybe Garrick latched on to Bashir for two reasons? One, he wanted to sleep with him, which we know is true. Like Andy Robinson has said that, but also two, the fact that he was in fact the most naive young officer there who he knew he could get to believe his fantastical tales of, you know, stuff that like Cisco and Dax would be like, ugh, really, come on, doctor. But you know, Bashir was so excited, like, oh, but he's a spy, maybe we should plant a homing device on me just in case he wants to, I don't know, take me prisoner. Like, I think Garrick knew he was going to have a lot of fun with Bashir's naivete and his desire to be a hero.
Well, I think Bashir was reasonably sheltered because of the augmentation. And I'm sure Garrick even knew about the augmentation because Garrick couldn't stand to mind his own business and probably hacked into everybody's personnel records at one point or another.
Possible.
My partner Edmund is here. He wanted to say something about Garrick.
And the thing about Garrick is that basically, as I understand it, he's essentially ostracized from the rest of Cardassian, you know, from the Cardassian secret service, isn't he? So he's basically like Ducat treats him with less than contempt, for example. So he's essentially cut off from his own society, And so he's got nowhere, you know, like literally he's an extremely clever person who's been basically locked out of his own society. And he can't really be a quote unquote spy anymore because there's no one to report to, you know, but still he can still enjoy the fun games of manipulation and wheedling information out of someone else, even if it's just for his own amusement. You know, like I remember in Our Man Bashir, you know, like he basically he mocks Bashir for playing spy, and then, you know, like says, you know, and I always remember when Bashir shoots it. Does he get him in the neck or something like that?
Yeah, right on the neck. Yeah.
Like, you know, I didn't think you'd miss. And Bashir just says, I wasn't trying to miss.
Yeah. You could have killed me. What makes you think I wasn't trying? Like, whoa, student becomes teacher moment. Yeah.
Like,
Well,
and that's for Garak is because he stops thinking of Bashir as, like, because as the series goes on, he becomes less and less Bashir becomes less and less Garak's plaything. You know, like he's like, you know, like at the beginning he's a pretty pathetic specimen. Like he's this naive officer who's basically in love with Dax, and Dax has got exactly zero interest in him. And so he likes all the cloak and dagger stuff, hence the Our Man Bashir fantasy. But you know, like he's got no real nous about him. Then he becomes, then as you say, he slowly doesn't become like a super spy or anything, but he gains some knowledge of what the real world real universe, as it were, is like, and gets, you know, like for example, Our Man Bashir, his character technically fails. He technically fails, but he gets everyone out. But he gets everyone out alive. He completely subverts the entire Dr. Noah. Yeah, and I felt, you know, like Sorry, go on. Sorry.
No. Well, you know, it also just made me think of the moment in thinking about the difference between how Garak sees Bashir in the beginning versus towards the end. The moment when I believe it was the season premiere of season 6, when after they've lost the station, they're on the Defiant, and Garak like hits his head on a bulkhead, and Bashir makes him wait for treatment, and Garak is like, you know, I would have thought that all of our lunches together would have given me preferential treatment, and they have this whole banter back and forth, and then Garak says, you know what? You're a Vulcan. You have no feelings. How can you not feel anything about it? And Bashir says to him, if I'm Vulcan, how do you explain my boyish smile? And Garak, total side-eye shade, goes, not so boyish anymore, Doctor. Boom! And then it's just like, oh my God. He was just like, I'm no longer interested in having sex with you because you got old. It's like, whoa.
but that's the kind of comment a Divergent would totally make. And Garak is totally a Divergent because he did not do what he was expected to do, even on Cardassia. And I wrote about this. Like, Garak was expected to behave like a normal Cardassian, and he couldn't. So he was labeled a Divergent and outcasted for his divergency.
Yeah, so I mean, I think he is, like, Garak is such a unique character in Star Trek, and such a unique character to follow kind of through his life, because I mean, his father's like deathbed time with him is it's like, hang on, like Garak for the first time ever is being honest and just wants his dad to say that he loved him. Just tell me once. And the closest that Tane can come to that is, you remember that one time when you were a kid and you didn't give up trying to ride that untamable beast. I was really proud of you that day. And that's those are his dying words. He doesn't give Garrick the satisfaction of saying, I was very proud of you, and leaving it at that. He uses his literal last dying breath to undercut it by saying, that day.
But you know, Dan, it's unfortunate. Some parents cannot see that their children are gifts, and some parents fail to love their children because they are divergent. I was one of those children. I don't know if you remember what I said in IDIC Includes Me, that my own father was unable to love me because of my disability. And this is something my mom just recently told me like this last year, and it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. And all I can do is move on and love people despite their differences.
Yeah. And Heather, I'm curious, does looking at relationships like Garrick to his dad, relationships like Garrick to Bashir and
Julian to his father,
does that help you to kind of come to, not come to terms, but does it make it easier for you to kind of see outward motivations from people in your life that may have done things? Does it help you to feel more seen and understood, and thereby help you to understand and see others more clearly as well?
I'm a little, that's a deep question. I don't think I quite understand it. Can you break it down?
Well, sure. Like in talking about Garrick's relationship with his dad, and in those final moments, how his dad just could not give him what he was clearly asking for, which is just, Dad, say you love me and you're proud of me. That's all I want. He couldn't give that to him. The closest he could come was, look, that one time you did that one thing, I was proud of you that one day. And that led you to think immediately back to your dad and how your relationship with him was. So,
well, there really wasn't one.
Okay.
I'll admit there really wasn't one. My mother was the one who raised me, and my brother and my dad did a bunch of work. So yeah, he brought in money, but he also spent the money. So
okay.
I would credit my mom's close family friends, and my mom had this best friend, and her husband I looked to as more of a father figure than my own. And the father figures, my brother didn't even get that. So it's not fair to say that I alone didn't have that father figure. My brother didn't either.
I'm just curious how you react to stories like Bashir and Garrick and how it touches you.
Well, the whole thing, I look more at the whole complex relationship that Julian had with his dad. Like, his dad couldn't love him the way he was, so Richard Bashir changed Julian into something that he liked. It's like, if augmentation existed today, would my dad have tried to do that? Probably, but he would have been too stupid to look past his own addiction to do anything about it. And I remember the story that my mom told me about how the doctor wanted to put me in a group home at age 3. Age freaking 3. And my mom said no. And so she was a little bit of the hero, and IDIC Includes Me, in case you haven't read that. And so if I would have been in a group home, I don't really understand what group homes are. I just know they're away from the typical world. So that wouldn't have been a good, I'm glad she said no.
Sure, yeah.
Am I answering your question? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, my question was very open to, I just want to help you talk about the stuff you want to talk about. That's.
I don't know if I'm getting it. You're a good journalist. I don't know if I'm getting your question though.
That's okay. My question now is, hey B, how are you?
Yes, hi. I don't think I'm getting his question, so your arrival is great.
Oh, I just got off work. I like rushed here. I had like one kid, and usually I sit and talk to his mom because he's got two moms, so we definitely have something in common.
That
And
is awesome.
we usually talk for about 30 minutes or so and just kind of catch up. But today I was like, I gotta go.
Yeah. So yeah, sorry, Dan. I'm confused by your question.
That's okay. That's okay. Heather, you are the captain of this ship. So it is well within your purview to be like, Dan, didn't quite get your question. Guess what? I'm moving on. And then I go like, whoop.
Well, no, don't go.
It's good.
This
No,
is
no,
an
talk about
open.
other things. Talk about
This is
other
an
things.
open, safe space, and you're going to be as confusing as you want to be, and I will eventually get it, I'm sure. And you can needle at it as much as you want. I don't care.
I am very, very excited to see and hear what your vision is for this group and what you're going to be doing and what you want to accomplish. And I really just want to be a fly on the wall because I love you. I love the fact that this has sprung from your interaction with Gaze in Space and the stuff that we do. And I'm just here to support, to let you, to spread the love. And, I don't want to get in the way. I don't want to, this is your thing. I want you to
Okay.
do it. And I'm just here.
Well, I think, now that you've asked that question, I think about the loyalty that I had to my family, even though I wasn't fully understood by them, even though I stood out. I mean, for heaven's sake, I went to 6 different elementary schools when I was a child. That is something very unusual. And you can even say that too, but that's not something normal for a child to have to do.
Nope. Not at all. I was ostracized from my family for completely different reasons, and I was very loyal to them and my person that tore my family apart for a very long time. And I didn't get over it or start processing it really till probably about like 5 years ago or so, where I really started feeling things that I should have felt and like, hey, maybe people shouldn't have treated me like this. Maybe this shouldn't have happened. It took a long time, and now I'm just me and making my own little family.
And your family is beautiful.
Thank you.
Where is your other half?
She is asleep. She is
Oh.
gonna try to pop in later because she works from like 6:30 in the morning till 3:30 till 3, and then she takes a nap, and then she works from like 7 till 11:15.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
loyalty we have to families that might not fully understand. I mean, oh heck, my mom's great, my stepdad's great. But the rest of my family doesn't fully understand it. The rest of our families may not fully understand us, but we do what we can. We make families where we can. Family doesn't always mean blood.
Yep.
And
I'm working. Yeah. I'm working
to
on that
Garrick
too.
and Julian, maybe they were each other's family in a sense. And friendship, like,
Sorry, I had to unmute myself for that because absolutely, Garrick lost everything and had nothing until Bashir. And then he had something that I would wager he never ever had before, which was a friend.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's partly why his perception of Bashir as time went on went far away from the lustful, let me just bang this guy because he's naive, pretty, let me just do that and use him for whatever. And it switched to like, hang on, like, are you my friend? Like, wait, the fucked up shit I've done, right? Like, you're giving me the Delavian chocolates that I gave to you as an apology for being an ass at lunch because you thought I needed them more? Motherfucker, are you my friend? And I think it just totally blew Garrick's mind, because I don't think Garrick ever had a friend before. I mean, in Cardassian society, God, like, unless you were completely detached from Central Command, the Obsidian Order, like all of that, unless you were so off their radar, who could have friends? Who could? Like, could you survive by showing loyalty to a friend? Because the whole society was set up so that you couldn't. The only thing you could trust was the fact that if you go against the state, you're dead.
All associations had their purposes, and once the purpose is over, so is the association.
Mhm.
Bam! Yes, write that down. That is an excellent.
It's on recording. It's going to be an episode too, because I make episodes so that everybody, all Trekkies, can understand. I edit them carefully, and all Trekkies can understand what we do here.
Good, very good.
And yeah, I mean, but not everybody's lucky as Garrick and Julian to find friends. And I've said that. What happens? And I'll even quote this from the thing. And what happens when people are not as lucky as Garrick and Julian? What happens when those who try to find their place continually struggle to?
I just had a conversation. Oh, sorry.
You go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, I kind of talked to Leandra about that last night, actually. Because of the nature of my upbringing and my abuse, I was sheltered from everybody and like groomed to not know how to be close to people. And so as an adult, I still don't really have a lot of people that I consider close friends. I don't think I've ever had like a close friend like people have. I don't know how to do that. It's not something that's in my tool belt. I don't know how to do it. Even in my relationship with Leandra, there's a lot of learning curve for me, and learning how to communicate and learning what it means to be like a good close friend and somebody that you can rely on, and somebody, and feel that back from another person. So I struggle with that a lot. So I think a lot of the times when I'm watching Star Trek and I get to see, especially Deep Space Nine, all the nuanced, relationships like Garrick and Bashir, and even watching Kira, even though she gets in with people, watching her make relationships with people when she's super closed off, and Odo making relationships and all of this, I really relate to a lot of that, and I learn a lot from that exploration of what friendship looks like, because for me, I don't know what it looks like, and I don't know how to do it at 34 years old. I still don't know how to have a good solid thing that I see everybody have. And I cry about it a lot because it's really difficult to be like, okay, I'm going through this thing right now, and I have people that I know, but I don't have anybody that I know. You know what I mean? I don't have that person that really knows all my stuff, that gets me, and being alienated and being groomed, like I said, like I was, to just not be able to have, because I didn't have friends growing up. I wasn't allowed to go to other people's houses. My teachers were my best friends and books were my best friends. I was not allowed to cultivate relationships, even with other people in my family. So I definitely think in this case with, Garrick and Bashir, that watching their relationship blossom, even though they're so different, and Garrick would be the person that you would think would never have a friend because he is the way that he is, and the fact that they're still able to make it work is really beautiful.
Yeah. And actually, Heather, can I jump in real quick?
You can do whatever you like.
Okay.
This is a safe, welcoming space, and you can do whatever you like.
I would like to jump in real quick because, be something, it's so interesting listening to you talk and your experience and how similar it is to what mine was. And, hopefully you all saw in Vegas that I, proposed to Rich, and Rich said yes, and we're going to get married, and yay.
That's fantastic.
Prior to, God, a few months ago, I would have said that I love Rich. I love him. And yes, totally going to spend the rest of my life with him. I don't think I would have classified him as my best friend. I wouldn't have. And it is so bizarre. And I don't know why. I don't know why this happened. But after the proposal, and I knew he was going to say yes. Come on, of course I knew he was going to. You think I was going to risk that? Of course I knew. He's been asking me. So, but after the proposal, some wave of something just like washed over me. And I realized, holy shit, he is my best friend. He is actually the best friend I've ever had. And losing my first best friend in high school to the fact that he figured out that I was gay, he wasn't, I wanted to make babies with him, and he was like, gay, and then like,
Oh my goodness.
like it was, there's something about the term of friend versus partner that I previously thought they had to be separate, because like your friend is like, all right, dude, you've had a few too many, you should go home, I'm not going to judge you. Whereas your partner is like, babe, could you please stop drinking so much? You're making a fool of yourself. Just come home. But in reality, the person who has your best interests at heart is your partner.
Mm-hmm.
They're the most connected to you. And if you have a loving partner, you have already so won the game of friendship, because it's the hardest thing to find. To find a friend who becomes basically your friend to the nth degree. That's so I just want to say, you already, regardless of what people have told you, what they've said to you, like if there was any way, which I know there isn't, but if there was any way to just push all of that shit to the side, all that would be left for you to see is the unconditional best friend for the ride or die friendship that you have with Leandra. It's like, there are so many people, I have 83,000 friends. It's like, yeah, how many of them can stand to be around you for more than 6 hours?
Not many.
Not many. So you have already figured out advanced mathematics. Now you're at the point where hopefully that fact will push away some of the bad, will make you feel a little more of the good that you have, that you are, that you have to contribute to the world, because like, clearly you do. Otherwise, why would she be with you? Why would she say, hell yeah, the rest of my life, let's do this?
Yeah, and she has like a billion friends on top of that. Like, she is an extrovert and has like so many people in her life. And I am the person that she has chosen to be with.
Oh, as if you're a chore. Oh my goodness, you are not a chore. You are the honeybee that makes the garden grow, and you better put that on your forehead.
I'm starting to get to a point where I am learning that people can love me and my trauma, and not just the parts of me, because I've had a thing for a lot of my life where I'm like the manic pixie dream girl kind of thing that everybody's had going on, and it was just like parts and pieces, and then my mental illness would show up, and all of these things would show up. And Leandra when we first started hanging out, I went to her house and I would sit on the couch, and I couldn't even sit really close to her because I was just so nervous and I didn't know what to do. So we would sit like this far apart on the couch and like not hold hands or anything and just watch Star Trek.
Well, I mean, the connective tissue was the watching of the Trek. That's the most important part. So
It really was.
And you know
She had
what?
never watched Star Trek before, and that was our bonding thing. So for the wedding, we're gonna sneak in some. Actually, I told her we were gonna sneak in some Trek, and she was like, "What do you mean we're sneaking in Trek? We're putting in Trek."
okay, B, if there is any way I can contribute to that, please tell me, because like video props, costumes, appearance,
Yep.
like just
We are actually going to do a smaller ceremony so that we can save on stuff. And I'm really weird about like my emotions being personal, like vows and stuff. So I don't want a lot of people there for that. But the second half of it is going to be a costume party. The party afterwards is going to be a costume party.
boom. Rich and I are doing almost the same thing because, you know, Rich was raised Quaker. And
Mhm.
those Quakers, they enjoy their silences. Silences make me very unnerved. and
Oh,
kind
you
of
can do it. You
like-
can do it.
And I will, as long as we also have the big production wedding with, you know, with costumes and music and lights and Denise
I would love
Crosby
to be
marrying
there
us.
personally.
and
I
yeah.
would love to be there.
We got to see where it's going to be. If it is within travel distance, you are absolutely invited.
Sweetie, just give me a couch and I'll get on a train. Because you're freaking worth it. And those people, like your family, if they can't see that you're worth it, screw them.
No, trust me, they are. And yeah, it's going to be great. It will be. But also be like, if there are subtle, small things I can do, I'm good at that too. I just, you know, from the first time we met and I literally think the world of you. I really, really do. And if there's anything that I can do to transfer any of the good Trekness that I have accumulated and put it into your life, because I know how much it has helped mine. Like, I just want to do that. So just please never question if you're like, oh, I don't know if I should ask me. Ask me.
And you know, an important message for both of you is that we shouldn't take comfort in our suffering and sorrows, but I'm sure we all do it. We're all guilty of it because we feel alone, and though we're not worth it. And, you know, let's go to Dr. Julian Bashir's words in Deep Space Nine here. Causing people to suffer because you hate them is terrible, but causing people to suffer because you have forgotten how to care, that's really hard to understand. And these are my words. Truly, we must not forget to care, even though it may be hard for us to care.
Mhm.
Very
And you're
true.
probably not that far into the essay yet. But it's a deep.
No, I'm not, but I know the episode, so yes.
Yep. And I think that's one of the things that I'm really like, I've been working on recently, like, because I had to go off my medication because I lost my insurance. So I've been like real wild. Like, I've had the past 3 days are the most stable I felt in a couple of weeks. And in the middle of that was like, I don't have anybody. And then I was like, I do have people. I just need to realize that people enjoy me. And Leandra's one of those people that reminds me a lot. She's like, people like you. Like,
You do have
duh.
people. You have this.
B, we really do. Like, it's, we really do. I mean, if there was a way, and trust me, I have thought about this, and in fact, I mentioned it to a few Gaze in Space board members. If there was a way that we could fund getting you to come on next year's cruise, like,
oh my God, I know, right?
I was like, she would benefit so much from being there, and just having her there amidst our group, like, just like, yes, yes, yes. But every time I try to do something like that, the board is like, yeah, Dan. And then who is gonna pay? How are we gonna pay for the banners that you need? And how are you gonna pay for the photographer that you need? And Dan, are you gonna walk there? Or are we gonna pay for your flight to get there? And I'm like, oh, I know. But like, please just know, like, that's not lip service. It is genuinely how I feel about you. And I always have. And I don't know why. I don't know exactly why. I think a big part of it comes from how well you handled yourself with Dorney the night. There's something about that to me was just like, yes, like the whole thing, because you edited yourself because you knew time was limited. You were concerned about the next person being able to ask a question. You did not do what most do, which is, oh, I got you now. I also want to tell you this, and you didn't do that. You clearly have a genuine love and understanding of Trek. And you so appreciated the experience to its fullest.
I did.
And afterwards, you never, ever contacted me or did anything to make me feel like you were expecting the same thing except a little bit better the next time, which is another thing that tends to happen with people. So I have just, because of all of that, like, honestly, I have been sitting here and what can I do? Like, we planned the Kalar night. The double, yes, that's something I can do. Yes. But I want to be able to do more. And I just want you to know that this is not a usual thing for me. I don't say this to every single person who comes to a thing or asks a question or whatever. It's just, I think you were a really, really special soul. And I love the fact that you're one of us. And I never want that to change. So yeah, okay, I'm done now.
Dan, I know something you can do for them, and they've even told me they wanted this. You can edit their episode of Trekkie Feud so they can enjoy it.
Oh my God, that's right.
They've told me several times they were excited about it, so you can do that for them.
Yep.
And it won't cost any money.
No, correct.
Do you like, I know I stole some of the, oh, did I tell you what happened? And this will make you feel really good. Somebody at the International Film Festival I went to this last week told me they saw my Wrath of Khan impression online and they loved it.
That's awesome.
Did you need that for the editing, or do you have a copy?
No. I have all of the materials. I've already put it into a timeline. I just, every time I'm like, hey, cool, let me sit down. It's like, okay, except we just had George Takei in a Rainbow Tribble booth. Like, I have to edit that.
Yes. But that is what you can do for B. You can edit their episode and make them perfectly delighted, because I believe you were talking about being with Mary Chieffo and seeing Mary Wiseman and how brave, how excited you were to be so brave and all that. I remember that conversation.
Yeah, it was really nerve-wracking. Oh my God, I was so like, same thing with Michael Jordan. I was like so surprised that I handled myself well both times. I just was like, I want everybody to have like a good time, but I also want everybody to know that I'm real stoked to be here.
And I hate to put the pressure on you, but that's what I can contribute to help.
Oh my God, you were cool as a cucumber who was really happy to be there. I don't know what a cucumber looks like. That's really happening.
What?
But
What?
I know that is how super cool. Like, honestly, you came across as someone who this was not a brand new thing for, like as an interviewer and bringing up younger interviewers, the hardest thing is like, guys, like, calm down. They're people. You can't get starstruck. You can appreciate them and love their work and absolutely communicate that to them, but you can't lose your shit. And you really came across as someone who was a seasoned interviewer who was like, I love your shit. You're a person. This is awesome.
You don't know what a cucumber
Seriously.
looks like. Are you kidding me, Dan?
No, I don't know what a cucumber looks. Oh God, this is getting worse. I'm leaving that analogy because I was about to say I don't know what a cucumber looks like that's happy to be there. Not going there.
I know what cucumbers are used for, Dan.
Yeah, salads.
Yeah, I know what else they're used for, Dan.
Throwing it back to you, Heather.
Anyway, did you want to talk more, or do you want to watch the episode and then talk more?
I have a question, since y'all are like super into Star Trek stuff. I have been looking for, even if I can just like send her a letter, but I'm trying to find some sort of way to contact Susie Plaxton because she doesn't do anything anywhere. So if anybody figures out some way to, like, even if I can send her an email, I can't find any way to just be like, because when I get my name legally changed, my middle name is going to be Kalar because of her. And I even bought her book too. And the audiobook. I looked online the other day and the links. Yeah, she wrote a book called King Lillian, and she does the narration on the audiobook. And yeah, it's like a kid's adventure book.
I'm on it, B. I'm on it.
Yeah.
I'm on it.
Cool.
I'll have info for you after the episode.
Well, wouldn't Susie have an Instagram? Maybe through the Instagram.
I checked Instagram and Twitter, and she did GalaxyCon stuff, and I got so excited and almost lost my shit. But then she only does autographs for those. She doesn't do anything else, so there was no way for me to like get in contact with her.
Well, she has a website.
I saw the website, and I couldn't get the link to work for contact either.
I'll have something for you.
Okay.
Well,
Y'all ready for this episode?
yes.
wanna talk some
Did
more?
Jill message her through the website, her Instagram?
I couldn't get the link to work. It might have just been because it was mobile or whatever, but I couldn't find her Instagram either. I've been looking online.
Well, here's her Instagram right here. Is this her Instagram?
I didn't know if it was, I looked online for her stuff and I didn't see anything.
Here's her
Googled it.
Instagram. Is this her?
Let me see. See if it's oh gosh. Why did it not pop up on mine?
I don't know, but I've been doing, I learned how to do internet research in journalism school. So
Yeah, I'm not good at the internet things. I'm surprised I learned how to work Zoom.
and I think this is this Susie right here?
I think it's hers, yeah, because that's the King Lillian one. So yeah, I just at some point I'm going to love.
Sorry, Dan, I sort of just jumped the gun on that.
Yeah.
No. Absolutely. You can totally go.
I just typed her name in Google and it just popped up.
No, I found the website and I found all of that, but the links weren't working for me. The contact links and stuff weren't working. So I guess it was just mobile or something.
Well, let's see.
issue.
Contact. And there's a contact thing on her website.
Well, it didn't work on my, that's what I was saying. It didn't work on my phone. So.
Well, it's working on my desktop.
Okay, then maybe it was just my phone.
But there's also I will send you the contact info for her talent and literary agent. There's also a contact for her talent agent for personal appearances.
Mm-hmm.
Those are going to go to people who are literally paid their salary because they read through every request that comes in. Depending on what Susie has going on in her life, she might read her email, she might not, who knows? But like these people, at the very least, they will send you we'll let you know.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Perfect.
Yeah, awesome. So while we watch this, I mean, you can read it, the thing, and you can think about what you want to talk about after, because I'd love to have some discussion after as well.
Bring it up.
I hate to give you homework during the episode, but
Oh, I don't care.
we're just watching
which-
part 1 tonight.
Okay, and which one? Which season slash
3.
3? I'm trying to pull it up on Netflix right now.
Oh shoot! Oh my god! I think it went off Netflix. Oh my gosh! I forgot.
There we go. Episode 3 or
Project Deep
oh,
Space
that
Nine.
was the last one that I watched. That is wild. On this, me and Leandra are almost at the end of Deep Space
It's
Nine.
11.
Okay, 11. Yep. Got
Yeah,
it.
just I'm gonna edit them when we're all done tonight. I'll edit this and I keep these on my YouTube channel just because it's an effort to make a whole new YouTube channel for this, and I'm not doing that. And then you should really watch episode 1 because that was B's show and it was amazing. They were amazing at
Awesome. Well,
All right, we ready?
I have to edit Trekkie Feud first before I can watch more things. Come on,
But
Heather.
I'm sorry,
Come
that's
on.
the suggestion I can give you that will save you and Gaze in Space money.
Thank you. Let's watch this show.
Okay,
Yes.
right, 3, 2, 1, go. We're just waiting for Dan. Dan.
Well, yeah, look at my shirt that Leandra got me.
Oh, that's so pretty.
Yeah, it's a good one. I want one with Cisco. Everything I've got with Cisco on it has them without the beard, and I want the migrated hair. I want the hair to go from the top of the head down to the goatee.
Is Dan alive?
Maybe.
Oh, you know what? We can just start without him. I don't think he'll mind, will he?
Yeah.
Okay, so the question that came to mind was when Jadzia was talking with Chris Brenner, then why is there a wall around it? Why, if they're not considered dangerous or troublesome, is there a wall around the sanctuary district? Why are the divergents put it around behind this wall, considered dangerous, so dangerous that they're locked away from normal society? Why are they hidden away? Why aren't they treated as treasures to humanity instead of seen as something so embarrassing, something so dangerous, something so unlovable?
And they're all just people wanting to do the same things everybody else is doing. They all just want to get jobs and eat food and have families and just be like everybody else. And no, there's a wall there. Yeah. Why? Well, yeah.
It's like a massive dumpster and they're thrown away like trash just because people have forgotten to care and they're treated as if they're not worthy of love just because they don't have what everybody else has. They can't meet up to the social expectations of society, so they're thrown away like garbage.
Yep. It's another thing that I noticed while I was watching that I hadn't really paid attention to before is when in the beginning-ish, where he's like, what is going on with this guy? There's so many things even in this time that are, easily treatable for schizophrenia. Like he doesn't have to be suffering like this. And like, personally, I just had to go off of my medication because I can't afford state insurance, but I can't afford insurance through my work because of how much I work. And it's like, what quality of life would I have had throughout my life had I have been able to get therapy and medication and stuff? Like, where would I be? Like, I'm not doing terrible, but like, I could be writing or I could be playing music like I used to, or like, there's so many things that I think my life could be different if I was allowed access to that. But because I'm not special enough or important enough or whatever, or I don't make enough money, I don't matter. Or I can't make enough money because I'm mentally ill. I can't work 40 hours a week without having meltdowns.
Right. And you know, there are laws about those on disability. We can only make so much before it starts getting deducted. And that's a flaw of the government. They say, oh, we want to be all inclusive, but you can only make so much on being on disability before you get punished for it. I mean, what's that about?
And a lot of times people get stuff too, and they have to divorce their spouses because they'll lose their benefits if they're married, if they're making too much together or something. Like, oh,
Like my cousin Nick is blind, and I don't know if he wants to marry his significant other or not. But I've got cousins who want to get married and they can't because they're on disability and they might lose their benefits if they get married, and that's total crap.
yep.
And it's really unfortunate. I mean, Julian, he says these things about divergence, and he's exactly right. He's a divergent himself. He's a social divergent, and we all see it. And, you know, divergents have this talent of sniffing other divergents out. We can all sniff each other out, and it's a very big talent we have. But we don't
Yep.
have the talent of helping neurotypicals learn how to love us because they don't want to. But
No.
you have Leandra. Leandra is unique. There are certain neurotypicals who are unique because they look past the differences and learn how to love the treasure box that's inside.
Yeah, Leandra is also is neurodivergent. Like she's got,
Oh, she is.
yeah, she has mental illness as well and stuff. I don't really want to get into her personal stuff because,
Right, of course. I
yeah,
apologize.
but yeah, she definitely is not. That's, I think, one of the things that has really been beneficial for me is just having somebody who, even though they are more healed and together than me most of the time, they understand how it feels like to be where I'm at.
Well, you know, everybody who's neurodivergent, there's different levels of it, and everybody has their traumas in relation to being neurodivergent as well, because it's difficult. It's not a cakewalk. People are like, oh, you get free money because you're neurodivergent. People have said that to my face, and I'm like, no, it's not a joy to be neurodivergent. Yes, there's disability, but it's not a joy to have that. I'd rather work. I'd rather contribute to society. There are times that I'm like, it's not a joy to be different. I'd rather have what you have and not be looked down upon because I'm different, because people forget to care about me because I'm different. I'd rather be able to work, be able to make a living, and be able to have successes.
I understand that. I can only work like 25 hours a week. I've tried to work 40 hours a week and it burns me out and I just cannot function. I can't do it. It's not the same as yours, but there's a limit to how much I can add and how much I can afford and how much, you know, I'm paycheck to paycheck, barely pay my bills because I have to, you know. And I can do the bare minimum hours, and sometimes 25 hours a week feels like it's too much.
Yeah.
So yeah, while I'm not the same as you, I can, you know, at least relate a little bit as far as, you know, feeling like I wish I could contribute more. I wish I could just do the things that I see people do who just like, even people that just occasionally need to go on an antidepressant because they had something traumatic happen or whatever, you know, something small or whatever, but like having a full blown difference and not being able to work, because I would love to go back to school and do something I really love, but I just do not have the mental capacity to be able to do those things.
Oh, well, I'll correct you right there. I was on medication. I went off of all of it at age 18 because I didn't like it. I didn't like what it did to me. I was a zombie as a result of it. And I just was like, cold turkey, bye. And I'm sure that wasn't healthy for me or my brain, but I was just sick of it. I could control it, so I did.
Yeah, trying to find the right meds is really, really hard. And most of the time
I'm not on any anymore. I just control it myself.
Yeah, I'm not on medication anymore now either.
And, you know, I wish society was more compassionate to the needs of the neurodivergent, because there are needs out there and they're not being met. All the governments use people's needs as political pawns, and it's rather sad.
I saw something not too long ago was talking about how like it was something I saw on Facebook. It was something along the lines of like somebody having a job, and because they've got a sleep disorder, they were seen as unfit for the job, and like they couldn't, be productive and all this stuff, and like people made accommodations at their second job, which were like no early mornings because of the sleep disorder, and they're like one of the best people at their job now, like making accommodations for like anything that somebody might need. If you need to take a step away because you're overwhelmed, if you need whatever it is that you need, STEM things, if that's a thing that you need while you're working or whatever, and none of that should be unprofessional or looked down upon.
Yeah, like accommodations, and it's like you shouldn't be looked down upon. You should have accommodations. You should have people that are willing to understand. And I know life is exhausting. I know COVID's exhausting. I know people get tired, but they should remember to care, because it's one of the basic human needs is the need for love. And everybody has a right to be loved, no matter how different they are, no matter how strange they are. We should all remember to love each other, because everybody's in need of it.
Mm-hmm.
What did you get out of that episode? Anything else you want to discuss?
I just overall like see things like that happening, like Portland, especially like in Portland, our homeless population is super, super high. And the way that people get treated, the way that people are seen, the things that are available to them are very similar to what was happening in the sanctuary district. There's so many places of like pop-up tents everywhere where people have just had to make their lives. And like, it is rough to look at. It is rough to see that there is, Portland prides itself on being one of those like super helpful states or, cities and really progressive and all of this stuff. But watching so many people suffer just because they happen to fall on hard times or like mental illness or, a assortment of things, watching them struggle and not be able to, and be essentially in a sanctuary district. I mean, they're ostracized and put only allowed in certain places. That is really rough to look at. I mean, and it's happening. It's already happening, especially with the pandemic and so many people losing jobs and incomes and stuff. It's just getting worse.
Yeah, what is it? What was the date? 2024?
Yeah, something like that. I can't ever remember.
It's now 2021. It's scary. Like before pandemic, I actually volunteered at the city's local homeless mission. And oh my goodness, it was a definite change. But it's just sad. I wish we had more capacity to care, and I wish more people would actually take the time to go and volunteer, give time at a homeless mission, serve at a soup kitchen. I've done that too. And during my Mormon mission that I served for like a year, I actually served at a place that is called a storehouse, where you go, like anybody can go. They have people organized to also help people who aren't members of the church to get food, that you need like actual good food.
Yeah, not just whatever slop you can give.
Yeah, like actual canned food, turkey, meats, cheese, whatever, like amazing good food, fruit, everything, like milk. And it's just amazing that so many people would come in and they would be so grateful for just having something to eat. It was just so sobering, because my family was also like patrons there as well, because I mentioned my dad and how he was, and it was just so sobering to be on the other side of things and help people in need, and people were just so grateful. And it really teaches you to have an appreciation and to remember to care about people, because I've already been in the one shoe, and then to step in the other shoe of the caregiver, it's just different.
Yeah, it really is. And, it could be any of us at any point in time. We're, everybody at this point is so far away from ending up homeless, but I'm a paycheck away from not being able to pay my rent, and if I can't make it to work or something happens to me, that's something that I've been dealing with a lot lately, like mentally just trying to think about, like, my job requires a lot out of me. I love it and it's super rewarding, but it requires a lot out of me. And when I was going through my withdrawals from my medication, I took a day off of work, and just that one day off of work significantly affects my ability to pay my bills and feel comfortable.
Yeah. Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it's just rough, you know, some mental illness and mental health and stuff, especially with me, because I went through many years of very awful childhood abuse. Um, and I never, even my perpetrator is in prison for the rest of his life. And there were no resources, even after having to go through the whole court system and go through that whole thing. There's no resources. Everybody just is just like, okay, it's over. Like, even my family was very much so like, okay, it's over. You should be fine now.
No,
Like,
like, trauma doesn't have a timeline, and
no.
people don't have the right to tell you how to feel, when to feel it. I don't remember where I read this, but trauma doesn't have a timeline. You have your own timeline of grief. You have your own timeline of loss. You have your own timeline of how to feel. Like, Julian, and we didn't even watch this, like Julian, when he was modified and learned about it at 15, he was what, in his late 20s, 30s. And he was
Yeah.
still very much traumatized and angered about it. And
Mhm.
that kind of grief, that kind of anxiety doesn't have a timeline. So you shouldn't be expected to have a time.
No, but I'm starting to learn how to be a little bit more soft with myself, because I'm very hard on myself
You
all the
are, but we love you anyway.
time. I got to learn how to be soft so I can be soft with other people. If I can't be soft with myself, then it's going to be hard for me to be soft. Like, I'm very open and, understanding with other people, for the most part, but I need to give some of that to myself so that I can grow and flourish in the way that I want to support other people.
Well, guess what? You're not alone in that, because I'm hard on myself too. I'm very mean to myself. Did we
Yeah,
lose Dan? Oh, we lost Dan. He's off doing something and has forgotten about us. Oh, well. Anyway, yeah.
we can do this. Yeah, like I said, we can do this again. And we'll just keep doing it, even if it's just me and you that show up. I'm gonna keep posting and hoping that friends can come. I would like to try a Sunday at some point, just to see if that
Yeah.
would make attendance a little bit better, just because that's like a leisure day,
We just have to make sure we don't run into Barbara's Sundays.
Oh yeah, I forget about that. I can't keep up with all the stuff that's going on. I never know what's going on.
I'm trying to not intrude upon people's days.
Of course.
Yeah, because I admit I literally feel like somewhat of a social intruder sometimes, and I have to get over that, because being neurodivergent, you always feel like an intruder when you go into spaces, and you never know if you're welcome, because you can't tell if people want you there or not.
And anytime I feel a modicum of confidence, imposter syndrome sneaks in and is like, oh, you think this is going well and you think people like you? Let us show you different.
And when people tell you you're not welcome, it's like, oh my gosh, the avalanche just.
Like, oh.
You feel like you've been shot, and it's like, I'm dying, dead, fall in the water, drown.
I think the thing that I've really had to get over in the past couple of years, because when I moved here, a lot changed and I started getting, more into myself, and a bunch of people that I knew from Florida that I had been there my whole life, either blocked me or whatever. I don't know what happened, and it hurt really bad for a long time, because there were people I'd known since I was like 19 and I moved here when I was 31. Yeah, so that's like a long time to know people. Randomly got blocked, just like, we don't want anything to do with you anymore. And I cried a lot and felt really bad about it. And sometimes it still hurts my feelings, but I feel like I'm going on this journey and I'm doing my best to be the best person that I can. And I'm just going to be grateful for the people that are here for my most authentic self.
Yeah. Authenticity is really important.
I can't always, show, I always try to show up as transparent as possible, because I think that that's the best thing that I can offer, is like, even though I'm a mess and I'm mentally ill, like, I just want you to know where I'm at all of the time. That way there's never a question. So even in all of my, wildness as it can get sometimes, at least you know what's going on. I'm always just like, I'm having a meltdown. I'm not going to process this or be able to talk to you like I normally can, because my brain is not functioning normally.
Well, that's why, authenticity is sometimes very hard for me verbally, and that's why I write these pieces. It's so much easier to get it down in paper.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you read them or not, but it's just easier, so much easier to write it down in paper. Are you getting tired?
Yes. But yeah, no, it is a lot easier to write things down. I'm trying to learn how to do that, even if it's just for myself.
Well,
Sometimes it's
that's
easier.
good. Writing therapy is great,
Mm-hmm.
We should really have a good thing we're doing this in 2 parts. We are totally doing this in at least 2 parts, maybe 3. We might even hold a poll because I can't decide between The Wire or Armand Bashir for the exploration of Julian and Garrick's friendship. We're totally going to talk on that, just exclusively on that.
Yes, I love them so much.
Yeah, because I even wrote fanfic where they get together and get married and all that crazy stuff. Hey, that's amazing. Like, honestly, they should have.
Mm-hmm. I think I'm halfway through A Stitch in Time, and just reading that has been very interesting.
I
as
never
far as-
read it.
Yeah, I got it on my Kindle.
I hate Kindles. I
didn't want to have one, but I was discouraged from reading for a little while because carrying around extra stuff in my backpack that was already heavy, and taking the bus and all of that was like just too much. And then I didn't want to carry my books around, and now I'm just like, oh, and I can make it. I can't see very well and I can't afford glasses yet, so being able to make the font super big has been really helpful.
Well, I can't do Kindles. It's like a mental thing. I need books.
I have a whole bunch of regular books too, but I think it's just been really nice to have something to do.
My shelves are getting too full. I might need an 8th bookshelf, and my mother will kill me if I get too many books. Not literally kill me. She'll just be like, oh my goodness, Heather, what are you doing? I've already got 7 bookshelves crammed into my living room.
I cannot wait until me and Leandra get our place, because we're gonna have so many books everywhere.
John Billingsley, and this is what I've heard, that he's got books everywhere in his house.
Yes. Let me text Leandra about dinner.
Oh, are you going out? Have fun.
She's working, so we're gonna probably order something in.
And we have to, I hope he's not so lost in that essay. Maybe he's editing your thing. That would be nice of him. I didn't mean to kick him in the butt, but he was going on about what he could do for you because the cruise was so expensive. I'm like, oh, you should do this for B.
I can't wait to see it, especially since he said I handled myself so much better than I thought I did, because I was literally freaking out and fangirling the whole time on the inside. So
well, I kept over complimenting Bob Picardo, and I guess they didn't like that. So
oh no. I just tried to keep it as short as possible and not take up a lot of space. Both times were very much so like, I'm so happy to be here. The end.
well, I was sort of the weirdo of my episode of Turkey Feud. I just
It's hard to navigate people and how to talk to them and what's appropriate and what isn't, because each group of people that you shift into has different set, social invisible rules that you don't know that you need to follow. And unless you're good at picking up, how people are, how they feel, it's really hard to get a feel of what's appropriate and what isn't.
It is. Well, that's why I fail sometimes at expectations. And that's why I wrote the essay, because I failed at expectations of certain places, and that we're not going to mention the certain places because Heather doesn't want to get sued. But,
yes.
But failure is part of the learning experience, and hopefully someday it would be nice to have some closure on that.
Yeah, closure is always something that you want to have, but it is very rarely given.
Yeah.
And that makes it so much harder to heal.
Yeah. But you
'Cause I
know,
didn't-
not even Garrett got closure. He went back to an unknown Cardassian, unsure of, well, he was there, like, and he saw a mess, and we never got to see what became of that mess. When he said goodbye.
Yeah.
And
Ugh.
the last time we saw Julian, he was all sad because he lost his love.
Oh, Julian.
Like,
You know, my
seriously, what?
No, nothing. I was just gonna say my first watch through of Deep Space Nine, I did not like it. I didn't like him. I didn't like anybody. I just like Cisco.
Everybody likes Cisco.
I love the Cisco.
Although my mom likes Quark, and when she mentioned Quark, I'm like, how do you know about Quark? I've never told you about Star Trek. But like when Julian and when Garrick said goodbye to Julian, he did the little shoulder thing, and Julian was left like, that was so cute. And it was so sad. Are you tired? Do you want to go? You look so tired.
I have had a very long week, so I would like to go relatively soon if that's okay. I think
Well-
you and I did a pretty good job of discussing what we could, but it's hard to have like a full conversation without a room full of people with, you know, a bunch
Well-
of different opinions.
We did our best, and Dan is obviously MIA, so we will forgive him, and he contributed a bit. So
Yeah, it was nice that he showed up though. It was great to have him. It was great to have him here.
this will make a good discussion. I will edit it pretty.
Hmm.
And we will have next week as well, because I already made the event for next week, so people have plenty of notice. And I might make it, maybe I should make it half an hour earlier since you don't have work.
I'm gonna find out what that schedule is for sure.
Okay.
Because I don't go into work, but I still have trainings to do, which when we do trainings is
Okay.
usually earlier in the day. So it might just be like it was last time from like 9 to 12 and then the rest of the day off. I thought we had the
Okay.
whole day off, but I will let you know as soon as she gives
Yes,
me
let me know,
schedule.
and I'll alter the time when you let me know.
Yeah. Yeah, as soon as she gives me the schedule, I'll definitely let you know.
Right, so this has been another gathering of Club IDIC. Captain B and Captain Heather are signing off. We love you.
Love ya. Have a good night.
IDIC, live long and prosper, all of you lovely people.
Bye.
Bye.